There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to Bod's Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. The Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Bod's Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to Bod's Mayhem Hour.
Hey, what's up? This is Johnny Nasty Boots, and you're watching Bod's Mayhem Hour. Right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bod's Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. The Bod Father. And as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to welcome Johnny Nasty Boots, who is a guitarist, singer, composer, and producer. And his current singles, Soho and Howlin' and Dying, are out now, off his upcoming U.S. debut EP that will be released later this year, shortly, actually. So, Johnny, welcome to the podcast, and how are you doing, my friend?
Hey, what's up, John? It's a pleasure of being here. I appreciate the invitation, and let's roll it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, as a solo artist, you strive to stand for all the musicians in Mexico and prove that Mexico has a lot of talent to show to the world, and they do. They have a lot of underground bands that need to be heard. How crucial is this for you personally?
Well, I really enjoy, stand out as a musician from Mexico City doing it rock and roll here in the United States. It's not the first time. I tour LA a couple of times, 2017, 2019, and having the opportunity of performing here in LA for the first time, that brought me a lot of perspective, and I was curious of how things were going to be here in the States. Like, okay, what will happen if I move to the United States and I do everything that I do in Mexico? What will be the results? So I think it's very crucial, because it really makes me sad that a lot of great underground bands and even famous bands in Mexico don't have the recognition outside of my country, Mm-hmm. So it's kind of important to give the example, like, hey, there's a lot of things that are possible,
How excited are you to have singles Soho and Howlin' and Dying out now and playing in the U.S. since you were primarily promoted in Mexico?
It feels amazing. Like, I was wanting to put out new music since a while ago, and seeing everything, coming out, and the good reception that people is having to these singles, it really makes me happy, and just it inspires me to do more. Like, I have this EP that it's coming out very soon, but I also am like very, very excited to work on all the, I don't know how many songs I have, waiting to be finished. So it's very exciting, and also the opportunity of playing all around the States. It's amazing. I did a tour this year with Faster Pussycat that it was amazing. We did 25 shows all across the United States. I'm planning more shows very, very soon. So it really feels good. It really feels good.
How's the feedback been on the release of these new singles, man, that you're seeing coming in? Is there any place that you can see that's kind of took you back, like, wow, I can't believe people are actually digging my song in that country, that area, wherever?
I don't know. I don't think I have any of those, like, a specific place. It's just like, damn, it's doing it great. Like, of course, I'm pretty sure that not everybody likes what I do, and that's totally normal. I don't think not even the Beatles are from the like of everybody. So I just really feel really really thankful for the music. It's being put it in front of the people that can enjoy it and listening, and they rock out. So I feel really blessed about it.
You brought roots of psychedelic and blues sounds of the 60s and 70s to present day. How important was it to add your style of music to this?
Well, I think the way I do music, it's I take those roots. I try to understand why the bands that I like, from the 60s, the 70s, Hendrix and Led Zeppelin and the Stones and all the greatest, like what they were doing, what was their vision, like going deep right into the roots. So when I start doing music, I was really wanting to do the same, like to understand the why, not in a way that, oh, I want to do the same. Like I want to understand why, so I can do my own version of rock and roll music,
Mhm.
basically.
So, what led the track Soho to be that first song released off this upcoming EP? What was it about that one that said that's got to be the first one to go?
I did like a little research when, with close people and showing them the whole EP. And Soho, it's definitely one song that it's kind of different of what I was doing. So I was wanting to show the people, like, okay, this is an evolution of Johnny Nasty Boots, but it's still the essence. So I think Soho was one of the most it was the most important one to showcase that those qualities.
Yeah. Did the new EP turn out exactly the way you wanted it to, Johnny? Did it turn out exactly? This is exactly the way I wanted this to turn out to be.
Actually, it turned out better. Yeah, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. I was very nervous because this was the first time that I was full in control of the production. So as an artist, that part of the job was very, intimidate.
Mm.
I was just wanting to do the best job that I could do on that specific time, and I learned a lot, and I think that's the most important thing.
Was there a track for this EP that totally ended up sounding different than what it was intended to? Was there one that kept changing or no?
I think when I entered the studio, I was very, very sure of how I was wanting to do it and how I was wanting the EP to sound. So that helped a lot because I was working on the pre-production like around 2 months, just literally every day on the home studio with the tools that I was having at that time, and just go into the studio and be like, okay, I want this to sound like this. I want everything, to have some certain kind of flavor.
Mm.
But there's one song that I'm very, very amazed of how it turned out, because it was the most free form song. It's called Whiskey and Reefer. It's not released yet. It's part of the EP. And
Mhm.
that song, I was capable of do a lot of experimentation with that track. So I really want people to hear it. Let's see what happens.
Any songs that did not make this EP that you kept back for a later release, possibly, or was there one that just didn't make the cut, but you're like, that's got to go on anything else that we do?
No, not this time. I entered the studio with a really, really short time.
Mm.
Like I only have certain amount of days to finish the product. So I was already, like I was saying, exactly knowing what songs and how I was wanting to do those songs. But I have, like, not gonna lie, probably 20-30 songs that are gonna be in the next one, that's for sure.
How difficult is that though to say like, okay, these songs are going to be the ones going on it, and I'm just going to keep these back. I mean, how difficult was that for you to pick and choose, or no?
Well, on this case, a lot of those songs that are part of the EP, uh, I'm already playing those songs live for a while. I have been playing those songs for a while, so it was kind of natural to choose those songs. You know, I Whiskey and Reefer almost didn't make it to the EP.
Okay.
It was only going to be a four songs EP, but the song was like very. I was already playing that song live, and it changed. That song, like I said, it was very open for experimentation. So it changed. I changed the name. I used to call it Isolation Blues, but I changed it because I feel like it was having another feeling. So I was like, well, this song it's very close to be finished, because to me a song it's not finished until it's recorded. That's otherwise all the time I'm changing and tweaking and being picky with the arrangements and everything. So I was like, this song is finished. So let's do it. Let's make a 5-song EP instead of 4.
Being a guitar player, I know you've been doing this for a long time. But what do you do to stay fresh, Johnny, and not be stale? Like, I've done this note thousands of times. I mean, how can you stay fresh and say, like, I don't want to make another guitar riff or another song that I've wrote 20 years ago, say like that?
Yeah. Well, it's difficult. Like trying to innovate all the time. It's hard. Like I don't even consider myself like I'm innovating. I'm just playing rock and roll, So it's difficult. I try to listen to a lot of music and outside of rock and roll, like I want to dig deep now into classical music. I was the other day listening to some stuff, and it's like it's mind blowing. It's really really complex and really entertainment to hear it. So I feel like nurturing my ears with some different music that it's not rock and roll, that helps a lot. And also I don't feel that I reach my peak as a guitar player, so I think that also pushed me to just want to do more and playing and try to do better, try to tweak the amp and figure it out new sounds, and playing with pedals also helps a lot to keep it fresh. Because yeah, sometimes you grab the guitar and you're playing automatically some blues lick or whatever, and it's like, well, that's more like an automated system of playing, and I always try to avoid that. So I just play.
I'm a heavy metal guy, punk rock guy, love punk rock.
Yeah.
Horror guy, love horror music. But I love sitting down sometimes and just listen to acoustic performances. Love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not to me, and this is no knock on any musician out there. And if you take it that way, I'm sorry. It's just the way I am. I talk the truth. You can tell when somebody can actually do their stuff on acoustic versus phoning it in on an album as far as acoustic that way. You can tell.
Yeah, it's the real deal, like not a lot of guitar players start with electric guitar, or at least I feel like the perfect way to start learning, it's you have to go to the acoustic guitar, and not even steel strings. You have to go to the nylon strings, like a really old guitar that has been in your uncle's or your cousin or whatever. It's always like that. There's always an old guitar, and somebody is like, oh yeah, you can play it, go take it. I was trying to do it, and it's only collecting dust, so go ahead and take it and make magic with that. So yeah, I really feel that the acoustic really showcase like the musicianship of a guitar player, and also how a song could be built. Like it's not built with sounds, it's built with chords, it's built with a progression. So I love acoustic performances. I started Johnny Nasty Boots playing Delta blues, slide guitar, open tunings and an acoustic guitar. So I agree with you.
And think about this, folks. The legendary, iconic Randy Rhoads started playing classical guitar even before he became Randy Rhoads and slashed on that guitar, man, that electric guitar.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way. Acoustic guitar, don't forget that.
Any track standing out more to you than any right now on this EP? And I know they're your babies. I totally get it. But are they any that stick out for you personally?
I don't know. It's like, what's your favorite child? I love all my childs, and I'm very, very proud of all what they have done. You know, my songs always surprise me a lot of how what they can achieve. Like, you know, with the first album that I released, a lot of those tracks did stuff that I was not even imagine. And with the ECP, it's happening the same with Soho and Howling and Dying, that they they reach some charts on Spotify, and I was like, what? You know, and it's not nothing. It means nothing at the end of the day, but it's just cool to see that, okay, they are performing good. People are enjoying it. So I can't choose right now like a favorite, but I'm really curious to see how people are going to react to Whiskey and Reefer.
Does it fuel your fire though, Johnny, when you start working on a song and see it go from the infancy to childhood to preteen to adult? When you finally get it done, does that fuel your fire even more?
Oh yeah. Like I said, it's inspiring. Like seeing the performance of, you know, your tracks. It only makes me want to do it better.
Sure.
So it's very inspiring, because that was one thing that it was very crucial for the amount of time that I took from release the first album to these new songs, was that the first album was recorded at Sonic Ranch, that it's an amazing studio in Texas, very top notch. So I was not having money to record new music in that professional way. So putting out stuff that are doing good just makes you want to do it better, or at least keep the same quality as previous work. So it's very inspiring. Just makes me want to push harder.
Are you still experimenting with your sound? Or are you okay with it right now? Or you just want to keep pushing outside that box?
Yeah, I enjoy the sound that I have right now, but I'm always, every tour, every certain amount of time, you know, I have a new, I'm a I'm a gear addict, not gonna lie. So I'm always like looking for new pedals and see, okay, this fuzz sounds different than this other fuzz, but they are both fuzz. So you know, I'm always trying to hear the difference and trying to experiment. I'm happy with how my guitar sound, but I'm not satisfied. I can get no.
What's that growth you've seen from yourself working on this EP that impresses you the most moving forward with your music and releases?
Well, to me, it's very surprising how good are these songs performing, and especially being in the States, you know, because in Mexico, of course, you have certain rock bands, a lot, but here in the States, you know, it's like it's everywhere. Like
Mhm.
there's more venues, there's more bands. So yeah, I really surprised of how good they have been performing here, and just want to keep pushing.
So was it hard in Mexico to get a big following with rock? Because I mean, I feel like when I see all these videos, especially like Metallica and all these ones that's been down there, there's a big following. Is that true or no? Or is it just certain areas?
The rock Mexican scene, it's amazing.
Okay.
It's, you know, Metallica can play 10 nights, and all of those nights are gonna be sold out.
Oh yeah.
So I think when people discover the bands, they really took care of them. But the problem is that there's not a lot of outlets for rock music. There's a lot of independent podcasts and magazines and fanzines and websites that do an excellent job keeping the music alive. But the problem is that everything stays very on the independent level. You know, if you want to get more exposure of something like that, doing rock music in Mexico, it's almost impossible. Not gonna lie. So I was very lucky that I had a really good follow. You know, my songs were performing really good. I have a number one song on the radio. It's called Deadline. um, I did a lot of stuff, but I was feeling stuck, you know, like, okay, that's it. What else I'm gonna do here? Um, so it's not hard once that you are like mainstream or that you already like blow out, but otherwise it's difficult.
You collaborated with Grammy winning engineer Mark Raines, known for his work with Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, Tanya Tucker, of all the country nerds should know who she is, and the mighty Marilyn Manson. And also Alien Johannes had input on this EP as well. So how was working with those guys?
It's like a dream. It was really a dream. I remember the first time that I met Mark Raines at his studio was like a completely, oh my god, it was like entering home. You
Yeah.
know, the studio. I was looking for a couple of studios here in the LA area, and it was like, okay, this is cool, this is fancy, this is really good equipment, but he's just a chiller. You know, he's so cool, and he was like, yeah, take a look. I remember reaching out to him on the email and being like, hey, can you send me a list of all the equipment you have? And his response was like, come to the studio. I don't have it, not even on like a list or anything. Come check it out by yourself. And I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, not everybody opens their home to be like, I don't even know if this guy is actually going to work with me or no. So the fact that he was, you know, inviting me to meet him and the studio was really cool. Lot of equipment, lot of vintage gear, and there was a tape machine recorder. So I was like, that's it. It's gonna be here. And with Align was really cool because we connect through Instagram. And I remember I sent him a message like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan, and thanks for, you know, for everything you have done for music, for the music that I love." And when the project was moving forward, the project of the EP, I had the crazy idea. What if I ask him if he wants to work with me on mixing the EP? And he was very kind to listen to the songs, and very kind for saying yes. So it's a dream working with these guys. Like, I have here their work in so many records that it's like, wow. It's a dream.
You know, Johnny, I've heard a lot of people say track listing placement isn't important for their releases, but what about you? Is a track listing placement important for your EP or album releases?
It changed everything. I feel like it changed everything. The Because every song could work completely fine by itself on most every album of every band. But if you are putting I see albums and EPs as a complete piece of work. You know, it's not like, oh yeah, that track and it's like a greatest hit collection, you know, or a singles collection. That's very different. When it's like everything planned to be one single thing, I feel like it's very important, the flow of every track. It's like a set list, but it works different than a live show. But you have to plan what song has to keep the flow of your EP, because some songs don't work exactly the same or don't give you the same feeling. So it's very important.
I know you've been doing this a while, like I said earlier, but what has been your toughest or best song that you've written personally that that you personally think maybe?
I think that Howling and Dying was very, very hard to finish. Not to compose or or reading the lyrics.
Mhm.
It was more like the arrangement, like how I want this to work, because actually it's a really simple song. It's nothing complicated, but getting the way everything works, the groove of the bass with the drums and everything, that was the most complicated part. So right now, without thinking it too much, I will say Howling and Dying was very complicated to make it sound right.
All right, folks. Now comes the part of the show where we're just going to get to know Johnny for Johnny. We're going to pick his brain a little bit on what he likes and everything. So that we'll put him on the hot seat. Not, it's not too bad. So, Johnny, if you could write an album equivalent to your favorite band's album, what album would you want to write closest to?
I will say Physical Graffiti.
Okay.
It has everything. That album, it's perfect.
If you could be a member in an iconic band and play one of their legendary shows, which band would it be and what show would it be? Maybe.
I'm gonna say the Dead Weather,
Okay.
Mexico City.
Okay.
That show was so fun to be on it, as an audience. So that would, if I will have the chance, I would like to see me on the crowd, just like surfing.
What's been your most memorable show that your band or yourself has been a part of that you still can't believe to this day that you were?
The 60th anniversary of the Whiskey Go Go with the Strawberry Alarm Clock. I feel very lucky of being part of, a very memorable celebration of one of the most iconic places in the world.
Is there a song that is just taboo that you will not touch to cover?
There's many. I don't know. I can think. I love. I mean, it's really fun, to play Highway to Hell or Smoke on the Water, but I try to avoid play, the top 40 rock hits of all time.
But is there one? But is there just one for you though? Is there one that's like, I'm not touching that one?
Well, I feel like Painted Black.
There. Oh, man. Okay. Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I feel like even that I enjoy see the Rolling Stones playing it live, I feel like not even the Rolling Stones can make it sound as a recording. That song is sacred.
It is so damn good. And I'll say this right now. Like I said earlier, I'm a huge punk rock guy, and there is a band called Gob, Gob, who did a cover of it. And I'm telling you right now, they did it justice and they knocked it out of the damn ballpark.
I'm gonna listen right we get off the interview.
Yes, please do, and let me know what you think, because I'm telling you, the guitar, everything about it is just, man, if it don't make you want to get up and just, I'm just gonna say, grab a guitar and start wailing on it, or just getting down to it, there's just something wrong with you. All right, Johnny, how can folks stay in touch with you, buy your singles and this upcoming EP that will be released here shortly? How can they do that, sir?
JohnnyNastyBoots.com. I'm on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm literally everywhere. I'm really easy to find. There's no other Johnny Nasty Boots all over the globe, so I'll be happy to stay in touch with everybody that wants to reach out.
I will also have his links in this interview when it posts, so that way people can go and share Johnny's stuff, listen to it, buy his stuff, and just give him a fair shot. Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on Bod's Mayhem Hour. Please go and check out our Facebook page and check out our YouTube page. And please subscribe to the YouTube page if you like what I'm doing. And I hope you guys and gals do, because sadly, if I don't get the clicks and the views, I don't get the big artists like I used to on here. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. That's just how it rolls, unfortunately.
Modern days. Modern days suck.
Yeah. Suck. Folks, give Johnny a fair shot. He's a great guitar player. Watch him on stage. He's a ball of fire on stage. Just give him a chance, folks. Please, for me.
Thank you,
Johnny. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck, my friend.
Thank you so much, John. I had so much fun here. Appreciate it.
You're listening to Bod's Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.